What's up? This is the WAFFL podcast, and I got Caven here today.
Hello.
And we got Zach from Hellfire.
And this will be the first episode that we'll be posting on our channels. And we're starting it off today by talking about some good old Deathgrips, some classic Deathgrips, and their new album, Year of the Snitch.
I thought we were talking about government plates, man. What the hell?
I thought this was an ex-military review.
Fucking, I don't know, man. I still don't like ex-military, dude.
You're fucking sus for that.
Goofy for that one.
I can't get into it. It's just.
But you're like Mr. Industrial, you know?
I know. It's like if you were just describing them, each album, I would assume ex-military is my favorite, but like when I'm listening to it, I don't like the sound it has, the vibe it has through the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, ex-military for me is just like it's like classic Deathgrips. I don't know. It just like encapsulates. I mean, obviously we're gonna be talking about Year of the Snitch, which is a big turn in direction for the group.
That was such a long time ago in Deathgrip's career.
Yeah, but I think it captures like what the group has been about up to this point. Kind of like general like, I don't know, aesthetic and sound of like what a casual listener can expect to get out of the group.
Yeah,
I think that first track off Ex-Military, Beware, with the Charles Manson sample, I think that like sets up the vibe for the entire band.
Yeah. I don't think Ex-Military is a bad album. I just don't like the way it sounds.
Yeah.
But enough about ex-military. I don't know why the fuck we're talking about ex-military. Alright, so track 1.
DG is online, baby, and ready to fuck.
It's such a funny song title.
We got the closure to the meme. My fucking Twitter feed has been filled with Deathgrips' online retweets for goddamn months.
I thought the whole thing about like it sounds like being on drugs in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's kind of the whole album.
I thought a little bit for the whole album, yeah, but like for this song specifically, I agreed with that. But I really don't like the drop in the middle where it like goes from that nice intro and then it's like do 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 do. Like I really didn't like that.
You don't like those little like arps in there?
I mean, I thought it kind of it changes from the vibe a little too much from the intro, where it's like I don't know. I thought the song was alright, but it's definitely not my favorite song.
I guess like for me, this is my favorite song on the entire album. I can't get enough of it. It's like
if it was just the intro on a loop for a minute and a half,
like I
would like it.
To me, it almost like speaks like kind of shoegaze influence on like the guitar melody like, a lot.
Yeah, like
and like I don't know, it's just when I don't know, the whole track, because you go from like this like nice like smooth guitar that just like I don't know, I think of like some of like the more shoegazy like Caro Caro Bonito tracks with the guitar.
Yeah, and I mean
and obviously there'd be more of a callback to like more authentic shoegaze artists.
I don't like how the intro, the beginning sounds very shoegazy, but then it like cuts out of that. And like that's classic Deathgrips where they just like they have so much going on in one song, but I really like that sound, and then they kind of took it away, and then it's like, oh, give it back to me. Like I don't.
That's why I like it though, because it's like I got like addicted to the track because it's like I love when those parts come in, but like I really love the drop on the track where like it I
thought that what they they took it away, and then what they gave me was like
yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like Ride just really like bodies the track throughout. Like
definitely.
Especially when you're curating all those vibes into one song. And like let's take into like account that like all these songs are relatively short on the album too. So like you're packing a lot in. I mean, the album runtime I think was like 30 something minutes.
Yeah.
It's super short.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know, traditionally I feel like Deathgrips, I mean, they've had a whole range of projects, but I mean, I feel like this is definitely on the shorter side of them. I don't know. I feel like it's like almost like an art piece. Like Deathgrips kind of saying like, fuck you to everything they've been doing.
Yeah, pretty much.
And trying something new, but executing it very well.
Yeah, this album in general is like super raw, and like it almost sounds like a mix more than like a full album.
Yeah.
Like a
well, and I
total
think
album.
it's kind of
I really like that sound in general.
And it might even be a bit of a callback to like the steroids mix too, like putting something like that out, or the electronic solo dub mix on their SoundCloud, where it's like they're putting out these very long pieces of audio, just like stitched together, and like You're the Snitch is really kind of following suit with that. So maybe that's where Deathgrips is at creatively, where they just want to create like these like long works that just flow together.
Maybe I think like what they're trying to do, or like what I think they're doing is because Jenny Death was like super like high quality production value, and that was like the most high production they had on the album. And I think what they're trying to do is like, okay, we did that, and now I think they're trying to go back to the roots and like just have like the actual sound, and instead of like trying to have it like super high production, they're just going for like that kind of classic Deathgrips sound, where it's like it's not about the production, it's about the sound and everything in it, you know.
And that's like another reason to love Deathgrips, just like from a conceptual standpoint, where you know, so many artists will get popular and decide that they need to shift into like a lane of everything sounding like super clean, super fantastic.
They need to,
and it can take away from the quality so much. And so for Deathgrips to be where they're at in their career, I mean, almost a decade of releasing albums,
and then go back to like that really
like a lo-fi
sound,
kind of gritty.
Very gritty too. And like, speaking of gritty, we could move into track 2,
Flies.
But yeah, we'll have to cut this. I was thinking of Black Paint.
Wait, is Flies number 2?
Yeah, Flies is number 2.
I fucking love that song.
But yeah,
I need to play a clip real quick, or are you good?
No, I know what Flies song.
No, yeah.
Zach, you should start talking a little bit more. I felt like we were just talking over you a little bit.
You want to start?
You bring us into this one.
Yeah, you start. Okay.
Flies. When I first heard, like, basically when I heard the first singles of all these songs, I just thought they were all right. But the way they wove the tracks into the album, it made me like them more. Flies, I thought the hook was kind of lame at first, but the more I listened to it, he's like saying he's the shit that flies spit out, you know. He's saying that he's worthless. So I kind of like, it just takes a couple listens to really, like, first you have to understand it sonically, and then after that you're gonna have to look at it lyrically.
That's how like every Deathgrips.
Yeah. But yeah, I really liked Flies. When it's all woven together like this, I actually ended up liking it a lot.
Yeah, the placement really fit the album nicely. I thought it was placed really well. Every song.
I don't know, maybe I was the only one. I really enjoyed Flies as just a standalone single.
Oh,
like,
really?
when they were dropping all of them, Flies was my favorite, more so than Black Paint. Like, I don't know, I just loved how just nasty and filthy like the moving bass was. And like the arps, just like how like the detune and like I don't know how they descend down into it. So it feels like the whole track is kind of moving downhill and like stuttering on itself.
It's really dizzying.
Yeah. And then that outro, like at first it didn't really like make a whole lot of sense why it would just like kind of like mellow down so much, and it's like, okay, what's going on? But in the context of the album, like you guys were talking about, going into Black Paint like that is fantastic. And I think it gives really Black Paint so much more energy. Because I mean, Black Paint at first was underwhelming to me, but like with the context of Flies, it's just like when I'm listening to the album in my car, it's like, okay, I am ready for this song. Like
I thought the song was all right. I liked how hypnotizing it was.
Oh yeah, that's a good word for it.
I thought it was just overall a pretty good song. It didn't really like stick that well with me, but I thought it was an alright song. It's not my favorite, but
I think while we're talking about Flies, this might be a good time to touch on Ride's lyrics in the album, where I think, like, you know, you look at some of these songs like I think there's a lot of like hatred, like self-hatred that he's like talking about on the album. Like,
this album seems really dark. Yeah. I haven't done like I haven't gotten really into the lyrics.
Yeah.
But just from what I can hear from like the overall sound and vibe, and just from the little bits of vocals I can understand, it does sound like a very dark album.
Yeah, I mean, you got like, you know, like Shit Show is another pretty heavy track on the lyrical side, where it's like, I don't know, I just feel like there's definitely a lot of internal conflict being thrown out on here. And I mean, not that that's like a new thing for Deathgrips. I mean, that appears throughout their entire track record, but especially on this one. And I think it fits nicely into the vibe of the album. Like, I don't know, the way the whole album kind of like appears in my head to me is like having like your hood up on like an isolated street, like at like, you know, 3 a.m, no one's out. Like, that's, I don't know, that's kind of the vibe that's curated to me when I'm listening to it.
This album really makes me want to like skateboard more than like any of their other albums. Maybe besides like maybe Ex-Military.
Yeah.
I think Jenny Death was pretty skatable too.
I didn't really like Jenny Death.
What?
Yeah, Jenny Death was probably one of my least favorite albums from Deathgrips. I don't know, I'm really into like noise and distortion and stuff, but something about that album, like,
I feel like your kind of musical taste, like with the things you like, you would think like some of these like Deathgrips projects and things would align with you, but I don't know, for some reason when Deathgrips tries to like tackle them, the way that they do it just doesn't really like fit into kind of like what you're looking for in, say, like a noise or a super distorted, like just gritty track, you know, which is totally fine.
There was a couple songs off of Jenny Death though that I really loved, like Spikes and Bubbles.
That's not Jenny Death. That's
wait, what?
That's why am I spacing on the name? I know the name. I'm not a casual Deathgrips fan.
Oh, Bottomless Pit.
Bottomless
Pit.
Yeah. Oh shit. I'm thinking about the wrong son of a bitch.
Jenny Death.
Okay. Well, no.
You know what Jenny Death is, right?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No. Okay, anyways, Bottomless Pit then. Well, no, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Jenny Death, second half Powers That Be. I can't remember any of the names of the songs on there, but...
Inanimate Sensation.
Yeah.
And Why Bitch Gotta Lie, Breaking Mirrors with My Face in the United States.
Turned Off is
a good one.
Yeah.
Powers That Be.
I thought...
Yeah, Deathgrips on GP.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking about the wrong album, my bad. The fucking Jenny Death, that was alright, yeah. I take that back. That was alright. It wasn't my least favorite, and that's not my favorite Deathgrips album, but that one was alright, yeah.
Okay.
My bad. I was thinking of Bottomless Pit. Bottomless Pit is one of my least favorite albums.
Yeah, I didn't like Bottomless Pit either.
Well, boys, let's get back on track.
Yeah.
Track 3. We got track 3.
Black Paint.
My
favorite.
Your favorite?
Yeah, on the album. It's got a really cool guitar riff. Like it reminds me of like 90s industrial rock.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's a little, as when they had the singles out, I thought Black Paint was my favorite, but then when the whole album is together, it seemed really a little too outside of the whole album.
I can see where you would take that. Yeah, I mean, I can understand.
It's a little underwhelming, and it's just too far outside of the whole album.
It's very aggressive for the album. Not to say that the album doesn't have its aggressive moments, but I would say it's very tame to traditional Deathgrips standards.
Yeah.
So for Black Paint to be in there, it's like, oh, okay, like I can understand why you'd be like, this maybe seems a little out of place. I like Black Paint. I'm not going to say that it's like my favorite or anything. I mean, I do love how heavy it is. It's nice to, even on a Deathgrips project that is so out of pocket like this, to get a track that kind of satisfies that like desire.
Yeah.
For the Deathgrips we all know and love. But yeah, and I also felt like too, when the track first came out to when the album released, the mix I feel like sounded different. It was
different.
It was much more heavy the second time around. I don't know, I might be crazy, but I feel like I'm not the only person that thinks that. And I mean, I feel like Deathgrips has done that before, where they'll put songs out and then they end up sounding a lot more clean on the album.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of shifted me to like liking Black Paint more than I had before in like the single context. But yeah, anything else to say about Black Paint?
Not for me. It really reminds me of like old school Ministry and even like Portrait of American Family era Marilyn Manson. It's just like it's got that noisy production. It's got that catchy guitar riff.
Yeah, I appreciated the song and like the guitar, but it kind of just wasn't. I didn't jive with it.
Yeah. All right, so
Next up, we got Linda's in Custody.
All right, so
Makes me think of Government Plates.
Yeah, really, and that's probably why it's my favorite song on the album.
You're a Government Plates boy.
Yeah, I thought I heard this song and then I was like, yeah, this is probably my favorite. Like, the first time I heard it, I immediately knew, like, there's probably nothing else on the album I'm gonna hear that I will like more than this. I thought that intro where it sounds so like twisted and like some kind of carnival.
Yeah, there are definitely like a lot of moments on the album where there's just like weird detuned, like almost like a horror like freak show type of vibe
like
to it.
Freaky, yeah.
And it ties in well with kind of like the psychedelic rock element of the album, and the electronic influence is still very prevalent. And I mean, you get that a lot in a song like Linda's in Custody and some other cuts on the album, where it all just kind of is like a fusion.
Yeah, the whole album in general, I thought it had like I really liked it because it had like and I thought the same thing when I listened to the Steroids Mega Mix. It was the whole thing sounds kind of almost like some kind of bad acid trip. Like it's what I think it would feel like. Mm-hmm. Like if you were like really into like just tripping balls on something and you were just like having a really bad time, like a bad trip, like,
and like almost curating the sounds to like comfort you and like just like terrify you in the same vein.
And
like,
I thought this one had that feeling more than Steroids did, because this album has way more of a groovy like rock sound to it. So it's not inherently dark or anything. Yeah. Or evil sounding, but it has kind of that weird presence of like just kind of really like it makes you uncomfortable. Like a fucked up feeling. Which I really liked. So this song specifically like really kind of embodied that, and I thought it was really cool. So this one is my favorite album.
Right on. Damn, we covered all of our favorites and we're like 4 tracks in.
Which one was your favorite?
Mine was DJ is Online.
Oh.
Which I think kind of how we're talking about like the fusion of like kind of that like freaky element along with like the soothing thing. That's kind of what that track embodies as well, where you get like that weird breakdown in the middle that just sounds really just vile. Yeah. And in addition to the nice like shoegazy guitars and like the nice little like bouncy electronic synths in there.
Right, next up, we got the horn section.
It's a transitional moment on the album, kind of how we were talking. The whole thing kind of just speaks as like a mix. And I don't know, this is my favorite track on the album.
I thought you said God damn it. What?
No, I'm fucking with you guys. It's like, it's nice to like have these moments like where, I don't know, because I mean, in Deathgrips songs, I mean, I can't think of a time where they've really done this before, to just have like weird intermission type tracks. Yeah. Almost like how a rap album has like skits or little moments that'll feed into another one. But it's cool to get that in like the context. If you're on a long drive and you're listening to the entire thing, it just adds more character to it as it goes along. And I don't know, I mean, there's not too much to talk about.
Yeah, there's not too much to say about this song, but I think when it's following Linda's in Custody, it's it rolls off it really well.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of how we're talking about that like freaky element a little bit. Like it definitely it kind of keeps that like
it braces it.
Yeah, that like unsettling kind of vibe. It just kind of curates that through to the next song.
I thought this was actually a really good song too. It kind of
We are talking about track 6. Ha ha ha.
This song kind of made me just want to like stare at a wall.
I can understand.
And like,
yeah, I can see it.
Like that scene in like horror movies where like the guy's like loses, like he's fucking skitzed out and he's like staring at a wall and it like pans into his face. Like that's kind of the feeling I got. Like
kind of like a hypnotic song.
Yeah, it's really dissonant.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is one of my favorites on the album. I loved it as a single. And it is kind of one of the like, I wouldn't want to say heavier, but more, it's like a lightly like more aggressive kind of cut.
Yeah, it's extremely noisy.
Yeah, over like something like say like a Linda's in Custody.
Yeah.
So
don't talk shit about Linda's in Custody.
Man, I'm gonna talk shit about the whole album. This shit was ass. I fucking hated it.
Don't
honestly,
listen to this album.
if I run into Deathgrips in the street, you're all getting socked in the face.
Taking your lunch money.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Taking MC Ride's lunch money.
No,
I'm gonna
Subway addiction.
I'm gonna grab him by his legs and hold him up in the air and shake him off so all the change comes out.
Yo.
No, yeah, I mean, I think how was fantastic. Yeah, like you said, it's noisy and it's just like, yeah, it's hypnotic. It just, the whole track just kind of glides, and you got MC Ride just like shouting like throughout the entire thing, just very aggressively. And I don't know, his vocals on this song and like kind of throughout the album, they feel like they can almost take like a backseat to the instrumental in ways where it's like, I don't know, there's so many other Deathgrips songs where, I mean, on this album too, you get that sometimes, but it's like his vocals usually so up front. Like, take a song like Tachyon off Ex-Military, he's in the forefront shouting, it's like in your ear, you know. And on this, it's like he falls back a little bit, and it just plays nicely into the instrumental where it's like everything just feels like it's not mashed, but it feels like it's like fused together just so like carefully, like, you know, as loose and as carefree as some of these songs can sound, you can tell that they really cared about what they were doing. So yeah, I mean, I love the track.
Hell yeah.
But I would also punch Deathgrips in the face if I got a chance.
Alright, up next we got Shit Show.
Why does his dick look like a crayon?
What the fuck? What are you drawing dicks in my car?
Make sure you get that on the thing, the cut.
He's drawing dicks on my car. I don't like it.
We're recording in Kevin's car. We got that real high quality, you know,
studio.
Yeah, we hit the stew one time. We had to do it to him. We had to record in the fucking Taurus. You know what it is. It's hot as shit in here.
Yeah. All right, Zach.
Yeah. So Shit Show. This is.
You said something about eating areolas. Is that did I hear him correctly in the song? Is that one of the lyrics?
I'm not sure.
Now that's the one thing I love about MC Ride. He's like the kid that like gets called on to read in class and like you can't fucking understand him. You know, it's hard to pick up on everything that man is screaming in a song. So don't crucify us for not touching the lyrical content as much as you would like us to.
Yeah,
we're covering the tracks as good as we can. Okay, I'm fucking sorry.
This is a good example of one of those songs from Deathgrips where it's like almost sounds like he's speaking some kind of different language that you've never heard before.
I get like 3 bedrooms in a good neighborhood vibes, giving bad people good idea vibes. Yeah. Like those tracks. You know, when I first heard them, wasn't really a huge fan, but like they've grown on me so much, and I love just like getting amped up to some like fucking fast blast beat type shit.
Yeah, I was actually about to bring that up. Like it's like borderline blast beats.
Yeah.
Like the first song off Bottomless Pit. I forget what it's called. You brought it up.
That's giving bad people good
giving
ideas.
people bad ideas, or bad people good ideas, or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, no, and like
where it's just like super thrashy and it just makes you want to like convulse on the floor.
Exactly.
And like you said, Zach, like they sampling themselves on the album too. That happens a few times throughout, which
that was really funny.
Yeah, it's cool because I mean they have such an extensive back catalog. Like to go back and sample is like something, you know, I don't think like a lot of artists would really care to do, but like I mean Deathgrips does it, and I mean they do it well, and it's enjoyable to like be like, oh yeah, like this is from that song. And I also get like during the intro I get like inanimate sensation vibes, with like those ascending vocals, like. But this is done in a way where it's not so much like an ascension, like a riser. It's just like it's so jolty and just like like you said, the track makes you want to just like fucking convulse. Like it's.
Yeah.
I really like this song because it really had that really choppy sound where it just sounds super cut and like adding to like the kind of that lo-fi sound where it sounds like it almost sounds like fucking Flatlander mixed it in his bedroom or something.
Well, you know what? And we got to talk about the fucking video for this song. I don't know if you guys watched it.
I saw it before they took it down.
They took it down?
Or was that for another video? I
didn't see it.
Okay, well, in the video, for you, Greg, 'cause you didn't see it, you get Zach Hill crawling around on all fours in a desert setting with tourists around or people hiking.
Wait, is it like photoshopped?
No, it's not photoshopped, and I don't think these people were in on it. He's just crawling around on all fours, like rolling around in the fucking dirt, and all these people are just staring at him. And I mean, it fits the vibe of the song very well, being a shit show. But yeah, my first time watching the video, I'm like, man, Deathgrips, you have done it again. You know, you break into the building in Tachyon, you're rolling around on the ground in shit show, you're spilling these fucking beads on the floor in the powers that be.
They're just always so unpredictable and just throwing fucking curveballs.
Screaming into the rear view camera of a car.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to see that Deathgrips hasn't changed too much in the years they've been out. They're always down to just do some weird boundary pushing type of material.
It's cool because every album kind of sounds different.
Yeah.
So over the years they've changed a little bit. But like they've always had that sense of like
being very punk, very anti,
very like we don't give a fuck about what you think. We're gonna like kind of do our own thing.
Yeah.
And
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what makes an artist attractive to someone, you know, like
that mysteriousness.
Yeah, because
it's like you don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah. And so I mean I love the video for Shit Show. I hope it did not get taken down.
I mean, there was, I forget for which song it was, but there was like a pissing scene.
Oh, yeah, that was, was that? Dilemma had a video, I think.
That might have been Dilemma.
No, that was definitely Shit Show.
Yeah.
Because Shit Show was when they were wiping their ass, too.
Yeah.
I think that was the pissing scene. Don't kill me if I'm wrong. All right, what do we got up next?
Streaky.
Okay, I know this song.
Yeah, I don't need to.
Streaky.
Streaky.
Man, shut the fuck up. I you know what? I'll be honest. I do not like this song.
What? Oh,
at all.
I didn't like it. This was the first single. This was... I didn't like it at first either. I'm like, oh, sweet. Deathgrips is going in this direction again, but... You know, in the context of the album, I really like it, actually.
Man, fuck a context and fuck a album. You know what? I'm sorry, Deathgrips. You know, it's very rare that I'll hear a Deathgrips song that I really just don't like. But this is one. Like, I just cannot... Just the general composition of the song, like... You know, you got fucking Fantano out here. I'm agreeing with him when it drops as a single, like, yeah, fuck this song. But
wait, then, Fantano didn't like it?
Yeah, when it first came out. And then he does his little needle drop review. And Streaky makes the favorite tracks. I don't understand why.
Fucking Fantano.
It pisses me off. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want.
Was this the first single they released?
Yeah, it was.
I don't want to talk about Streaky anymore. I'm gonna get pissed. I'm gonna I don't know, throw a rock
Streaky,
at something.
more like
Nice.
Man, you're being problematic on the podcast already.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
I'll put a censor so people won't know what you say.
Beep.
I'll put a censor. Everyone,
Don't-
the 5 people that listen to this are gonna wonder what you said when I
Don't-
bleep out the word, which I'm also gonna bleep out right now.
Wait, okay,
and it's gonna be hilarious.
You won't even have to do any work because I'll just bleep it. I'll do it again. I'll bleep it. Streaky, more like beep-ky.
Or just like
Man, that was-
it's just a ride going yeah.
man, that was fucking. I'm gonna love bleeping out these words. Like I said, you 5 people listening, 3 of them being us, are really gonna be curious as to what we're talking about.
All right, no. So Streaky, first single out. I thought when it came out, I was like, everyone was like, they're just going back to like Government Plates era, and the whole album is just gonna sound like Government Plates. And I was actually kind of excited because Government Plates is my favorite Deathgrips album, but like something about Streaky, like I kind of agree. Like I didn't like it. Like it had that weird electronic experimental sound, but like it was all right, but I just it was kind of a forgettable song for me.
Yeah, no, like in all seriousness, I can shit on the song as much as I want, but to talk about it on a serious note, yeah, I mean Streaky, just for me, if it comes on, I'm skipping it. I just it's a forgettable moment. Like
I forgot what I was gonna say.
dude, is there anything else to say about this track? It was terrible. What's the next one?
Dilemma.
Ooh, Dilemma. Okay.
Or go ahead, start.
Kind of like, I don't know why this album makes me think of like 90s like industrial alt rock, but
It really has that sound.
Yeah, like
well, and Deathgrips was alive in the 90s, you know. We gotta remember that.
Yeah, fucking Old Man Jones, Old Man MC Ride,
MC
and the
Ride's
boys.
like 40.
Old Man Ride and the fucking...
Yeah, these fuckers are like getting close to like my parents' age. Like,
dude, I think my mom is 40. Or she's either 40 or 41, but like... It's so crazy to think about how old he is. God, I wish MC Rod was my dad.
man, I wouldn't want that man as a father. No disrespect, Mr. Ride. I wouldn't know how to read you. I would probably, I don't know, you might kill me in my sleep. I'd be scared. I'd be scared to go to bed in the Ride house.
I can just imagine him. Oh. Wait.
You're gonna be problematic again. You're gonna pull the. You're gonna pull the.
It wasn't intended to be taking shots at any.
I'm bleeping. I'm gonna bleep out so much of this.
I was gonna say, I imagine him just like sitting on his porch and like shaking his fist like a bunch of young kids.
A hacker, he's like yelling at kids.
Yeah, and he's yelling. Oh God, yeah, no. And see, if you're a dad, I know you probably don't talk about your life very much. But if you're a dad, you know, shout out to you and your kids that you're raising.
Man, MC Red's too cool to have kids.
Under the veil of anarchy and narcissism and other disgusting things. I gotta cut that.
The only one I can see having a kid is Zach.
I don't know. Maybe they. What if one of them has like 10 kids? Like that.
Flylander probably gets bitches.
Yeah, but he doesn't have. I don't think Flatlander has a kid.
He might have illegitimate children.
What if? Let's consider the fact that like MC Ride potentially could have like 5 or 6 kids.
Do you think any member of Deathgrips would be the kind of person to have unprotected sex and illegitimate children?
Probably have unprotected sex with animals.
let's talk about 3 bedrooms in a good neighborhood. I think they would definitely have unprotected sex and have children that are growing up in orphanages.
Jesus.
No. Yeah, what fucking song were we talking about? Dilemma. Okay, I like the song. I think this one probably more so than the rest of the cuts really like comes to like a psychedelic groovy rock type of experience. The old man saying some shit at the beginning is cool.
I really like this song because it, like I said earlier, it reminded me of Like,
yeah, compare it. Let's be smart. Let's compare it to something. Let's show them our musical
no,
smarts. No, I'm being serious.
It reminded me of like when I was a kid playing like Contra and shit. Like, it's got like that weird sound of like, makes me just want to like fucking play a run and gun, like fucking Metal Slug or something.
So yeah, Dilemma, great song, real groovy.
Great song, reminded me of my childhood when I played Contra.
Yeah,
old school video game music.
Bringing that up, I definitely like. I mean, I never played Contra or anything, but I can definitely see like the video game comparison. The instrumental alone definitely like holds some similarities to music like that.
Just made me feel like a badass listening to this song.
Alright, next pop is Little Richard.
Alright, so we're talking about Little Richard, the next song. Acid House, baby.
Hell yeah.
Give me some Molly and let me dry hump a girl at the club.
I thought it was PCP was popular in the 90s and 80s.
Man, Molly's popular now. You play the song in the club,
but
now.
Nobody listens to Acid House now. You're not gonna go to a club and they're gonna play Acid House.
Boys Noise. Ever heard of him?
What's that?
He plays Acid House. Like, that's his like specialty.
Okay, but that's not okay. Never mind.
Man, don't fucking talk about Acid House.
Okay, but you could walk into like any club in the 90s and playing Acid House.
That was a popular. Yeah, okay, yes, it was a popular sound. Anyways, I'm dry humping in the club listening to this fucking song, Little Richard.
Trying to get my Little Richard.
I'm I'm listening to this song in the club, trying to get my Little Richard through some booty shorts. But it's not
acid girl shorts.
No, I like the song. I mean, obviously you're gonna have like, when you're fusing all this, you're gonna have tracks that are gonna like stand alone, kind of take more of an influence from something. I mean, you got Dilemma that's hitting more of like the rock and roll side. And this one's obviously hitting like a very electronic side. You got those like nice chops in the beginning too.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you kind of see similarities on like Shit Show with like the blast beats. And I mean, like we were talking about earlier with some of the songs in the first half of the album, and kind of like continuing to curate that like unsettling vibe. Mm-hmm. Kind of like you get that in the beginning of the song, and then you transition into like the bouncing acid bass. And I don't know, I enjoyed the track. I guess I was maybe a little more indifferent on this one, but
this one was, I really liked this one just because how acidy it was.
Yeah, I bet you did.
I really liked this one.
You fucking you probably did like this song.
This was another one of my favorites.
Yeah. Anything else to say about it, Zach?
I really like the noisy intro. I'm really into noise too.
The glitchy.
Yeah, that glitchy shit. And then the verses are pretty tight too, but the intro in particular I really liked.
For sure.
Next up we got The Fear.
What?
Everyone's silent.
Yeah, who's starting? The last one.
So I thought,
introduce the track, man. What the fuck?
What is it?
The Fear.
All right, so The Fear. Another one of my favorite songs, actually.
Man, you're talking like you have to like present a school project, but you didn't do any research. No, I like The Fear. I mean, I guess I have nothing like super special to say about it. I mean, I do love how shouty he is on the song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't get me wrong, I love me a shouty MC Ride. I love when he scream, I gleam with a big old smile.
I really liked this has a really, really groovy sound to it.
Similar to Dilemma.
Yeah, it makes me feel like I'm sitting in a bar with like a cloud of smoke just fucking sitting around me, and like there's a bunch of buff guys playing pool and shit.
God, I love me some buff guys too.
Buff pool playing boys.
But no, it did have a really nice groovy sound, and it also had like a cool like combination with the electronic, and it fit the whole album really nicely. And yeah, I don't know, it was just one of my most favorite songs on this album.
Yeah, I mean, I like too, just kind of like how we're talking about, you know, like kind of how the album makes us feel and puts us into settings, like you know, like you're in like a bar with a cloud of smoke on the street, like at 3 a.m. and no one's around. Like, I don't know, for like a Deathgrips album to like put you in like almost like such like weird like almost serene type of settings, like not like serene like I'm on a fucking beach, but like, you know, Deathgrips in the past has like
transports you.
It's put me in like a fucking like war zone and shit, you know, or like I'm gonna go fucking fight somebody for no reason. But like, I don't know, to listen to a Deathgrips project and like a song like this, as shouting, as aggressive as Ride is, to still just kind of like have that feeling of like just kind of being like held back and like reserved, but it's almost like you could feel like this like energy like burning inside of you. I think like, yeah, it's just like the fusion of the album just evokes like so many different emotions, and I think that's what, like, just to kind of tie this into like a big conceptual thought, like Deathgrips just as artists to like tackle so many things at once, and you can pack like all that into, you know, a 2-3 minute song, and just like I don't know, Ride and Hill and Flatland are just communicating like truly just from themselves as individuals. They kind of just like bear themselves to the people and let themselves be judged, you know. And that's why they're one of, if not my favorite artist, you know.
That's why they're one of my favorite artists, because they give me a really like almost like visual feeling from their music, where it's like I can like it's like I'm just in this setting. Like this song just sounds like I'm in this place, like, and this stuff is happening in this certain situation. Yeah.
Outro, baby. Last song on the album. Holy shit, I love this beat.
Wait, this is the last song?
Like, yes. No, to be honest, I love this beat. I thought it was really good. I don't know. I mean, it's like a little transitional track, kind of like the horn section. Yeah. But like we were talking about, you know, like the album just sits kind of like as a mix, and it's a nice close. It's a nice like closer to everything, and it just kind of like seals the album in a nice little package, as Deathgrips gives it to us on a silver platter, like they always do. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, for being just a short instrumental kind of break, I don't know. Do you guys have anything else to say about it?
You can go.
No, you go.
I like the guitar riff in it. It is really catchy. Probably almost as catchy as Black Paint. It's just Black Paint had a lot more substance to it, since this is obviously a transitioning track. I would have liked it a lot more if it had more meat on it, but
fuck me. I would have loved for MC Ride to have hopped on this fucking hot ass beat and spit some bars. But you know what? Sometimes you get let down by your favorite artist, and that's A-okay. Maybe sometime in the future he'll sample it. Deathgrips seems to enjoy doing that at this point in their lives. I would love to see some raps on outro. Maybe I'll go to like the Black Google folder and throw an acapella on the bitch. We'll see what happens.
Maybe they'll sample this song in the future album and he'll record over it.
I would love that. I'll probably never get it, but you know what? I can dream, right? The things that keep me alive until I die. And psych, we got one more track.
Disappointed.
It's called Disappointed.
Kind of more like
I knew that. Let's talk about Disappointed and how we finally got to the point where we got that "Why me?" from the fucking teaser. I listened to this whole goddamn album waiting. I was waiting for that lyric, and I wasn't hearing it. I was like, what the fuck? Because I don't know, off the teaser alone, I expected the album to be way more bombastic and aggressive than it was. Yeah. And so to not get that, I was like, man, were they really just like fucking trolling us? And I think they definitely were, when you take it off the track Disappointed, which is definitely kind of like a message to the fans that are going to hate this album for what it is. I love how distorted and just nasty it is. I mean, obviously it's no like Jenny Deathgrips banger, but it does kind of offer something like that to the public, you know.
We got this bitch ass train.
God damn it.
Yeah, this is some fuck shit.
Some goofy shit.
But yeah, Disappointed. I mean, it's an insane track. It kind of has a hypnotic feel, kind of like Haha does at certain moments. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's got, like you said, Hill is going insane on the drums. He's a madman on this track.
The whole song, every element of it is just fucking so intense.
Yeah, and like it's kind of like how we were talking about, giving bad people good ideas. And tracks like that are just super fucking intense, fast paced. They don't give you a moment to breathe on them, And like we're saying, we got that shout that we got on the teaser. So I was happy to finally get some closure on that. That kind of tied the whole anticipation of like waiting for this album to a close, where I was like, all right, I can
breathe a little.
Yeah, I can die peacefully now. I got everything that I wanted out of this album. But yeah, I mean, overall a fantastic track in my opinion, and it's nice that Deathgrips. Yeah, I mean, they're extremely interactive with their fans for as little as they're vocal on like social media and things like that. They definitely they hear the fans, they see what we're saying to them, and they'll when they want to, they'll message us back however they see fit. And this track is a prime example of that.
Yeah, talking about that whole like awareness of the fans. Deathgrips is like super aware of their fan base and like what they want.
Oh yeah.
And they either choose to like say whatever and like throw something at you where it's basically like telling you to fuck off, or rarely they'll give it to you.
Yeah.
But either way, you always get a sense of like they know, they're not just like oblivious to what they are.
And, like, for someone who doesn't really understand Deathgrips, they might look at it and be like, oh, they're just kind of off the grid.
Yeah.
Like they're just weird. Someone that doesn't follow them. But I mean, for people like us that are obviously in the fan base and are following everything they do. Yeah, it's like going back to like the DGs online. I know you guys aren't on Twitter, but like for basically it felt like almost a year. It was probably shorter. Like I said, don't crucify me, but they would go on and they would just tweet Deathgrips is online one time, just randomly, and the fan base would go crazy, and everyone's tweeting Deathgrips is online with just weird memes, and Deathgrips would specifically retweet every single one. So if I went on my timeline and it was a Deathgrips is online moment, I could not read a fucking tweet that was not Deathgrips is online.
Yeah, Deathgrips trash posting was like that too. Like they had screenshots from Twitter and everyone was going crazy.
Yeah, it was insane.
Except that group is trash.
And so going before the album was announced as being You're the Snitch, I really thought it was going to be called Deathgrips is online.
That would have been the ultimate shit post.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's like how we're talking about, they see the fans, they know what we want, and they'll give it to us. I mean, they gave us the intro to the album is Deathgrips is online. So it's like you said, I mean, they'll interact with us kind of when they want to. Most of the time it's a fuck you, or they'll be mean to us. But they love to tease us along as well.
Yeah. Anyways, back to the song. Disappointed.
Oh,
Disappointed. Fuck.
What the hell?
Anyways, back to the song. Disappointed. I thought it was pretty cool. I don't think did I say anything about this song yet?
A little bit. I mean, we're kind of getting into like more of a conceptual Deathgrips conversation at this point, but you can definitely go back and say some things about the track.
And anyways, it's just I really liked this song too. It's like top 3 would be this one, The Fear, and Linda's in Custody. Those 3 are like my favorite from this. Those are my top picks from this album.
All right. Zach, what are your top picks?
There would be Black Paint, Streaky,
Jesus.
and Shit Show.
There we go. And my 3, the most important 3. No, my 3 faves are DG is Online. That's the first one. fuck you. It's my all-time favorite on the album. Deathgrips, I love you, baby. Thanks for giving me that track, that hot-ass beat. Second up, Haha. God, love it. Great track. Oh my god, I'm getting all worked up. And in the third tier, the third slot, Outro, baby. I love that fucking beat.
Jesus.
I swear to God, I really love that beat.
Outro was a little bit forgettable for me. It was good. But
no, I know it's a weird thing for me to like put in top 3, but I really love that beat. So I mean, I don't know. It's the first time I've listened to an album and like really enjoyed like a transitional moment. Like, 'cause, I mean, rap skits to me, get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm not trying to hear like a minute long weird fucking inside joke with you and your buddies in the studio. Like, it's dumb. But like Deathgrips, Outro,
Deathgrips can hang.
If Outro was a woman, I would take her without asking. No, I would ask, but if she said no, I would still take her.
Jesus.
I'm just kidding.
I would enter rectum.
Hell yeah. No, not actually. I'm nice. I'm a
nice guy.
But yeah, those are we got the top 3s.
Anyways, so yeah, talking about Deathgrips in general. Or how about the album in general now to finish it up?
Well, yeah,
about the whole album in general, I thought it's not what I expected.
Yeah, me.
Deathgrips definitely blue balled us on this one.
I mean, I did like the album, but it's not one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's not the direction I expected them to go into, which is super normal of Deathgrips. But I do like this album, and I thought it was pretty good overall.
I think for me to kind of like rank it, I guess, in comparison, I think it's a little too early for me to really decide where it's gonna sit. But I could see this becoming one of my more favorite Deathgrips projects.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, because I mean, it is so left field, and sometimes when you get a project or even just like a song like that, it'll kind of stick with you, and you just like, you become so attached to it. And I think I can definitely see that happening. I mean, obviously, I'll have to give it some more time. I mean, I've been able to sit with these other Deathgrips projects for years now.
Yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, I definitely love crazy Deathgrips with the big beats and the distortion and everything. But I do like this new change, and to be honest, I really wouldn't be upset if another album like this did come around in the future. And just kind of mixing more elements and trying new things out. I mean, this is the first time we've really seen Deathgrips do something like that, and to do it in a way where it's still authentic and it's executed damn well. I think I'm very open to seeing what else they would like to do creatively, you know.
Yeah, I agree with, like, I would like to see another album like this. I think it could only get better, you know, like.
Yeah, you have to understand. Yeah, this is their first attempt in like a field like this, like from putting out an album.
I mean, Steroids was kind of like this.
Yeah.
I also think in placement of all their like discography, I think that this album is somewhere in the middle for me right now. But yeah, maybe after listening to it a couple times, I think it'll only go up. Yeah. I don't think it'll go down. Like, I don't think I'll like it less the more I listen to it. Mm-hmm. I think it'll go up, and it might become one of my like favorites too. But
yeah,
because this album is really like big. I think it's like it's kind of a lot to take in compared to like some of their other albums.
Yeah, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think all Deathgrips projects are conceptually big, but this one more so, just from,
because this one is so like wild.
Yeah, just from an instrumental standpoint, there's a lot to take in. You know, where it's like you really haven't had to deal with that too much in different Deathgrips projects. I mean, you did have the first half of Jenny Death, where, I mean, you got like all the Bjork samples, and those tracks were weird as hell when I first heard them. I mean, they've grown on me a lot since then. But I mean, I don't know, just like when you're trying out something new, it's definitely, your fan base is gonna have to get used to it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, yeah.
All right, Zach, what did you think about this?
The album in general, I liked it a lot. whenever. Well, I like it more when I'm inebriated, but but I'd say it's mid to upper tier when it comes to Deathgrips albums.
I think it's definitely not one of the. It's not one of the worst.
It's not one of the worst, no. And with time, of course, it could either go up or down. But for now, I think it's a solid release.
Yeah. Also, I would love to hear this album live.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think, like, because I mean, you know, going to a Deathgrips show before this was out, you kind of know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
But I think hearing some tracks like this would just be, like, you know, you have like the hypnotic element that we talked about a lot, and just to like have that at a show from an artist like Deathgrips, I feel like would be just fantastic to see how they would execute it live. You know,
when I saw them, they played all the songs I wanted them to play.
Yeah, they kind of just like go through the hits.
Yeah.
No, for sure. But yeah, is that gonna about do it for us?
I think so.
Yeah, I think pretty much said everything I wanted to say about this album.
Fantastic. Well,
all right, boys. Well, this has been the 650th episode of WAFFL Podcast.
We're retiring.
This is.
We got too much clout over this.
I have to take my Tylenol PM and go have diarrhea for like 2 hours. So I'm probably gonna die soon. Thanks for a great album, Deathgrips. I really
Mr.
appreciate
Grips
it.
and the boys, you done it again.
But yes, this has been the first episode of the
WAFFL Podcast.
Yes, which
sponsored by Tylenol PM.
Hook me up, Tylenol PM. If you send me some Tylenol PM, I'll tell you what I'll do with it right goddamn now.
Man, fuck Tylenol. Tylenol never does shit.
I'll take that Tylenol PM and I'll sell it to kids. I have nothing holding me back. I don't care about my life. If you send me Tylenol PM, I will cut that shit at a deal to kids at a playground somewhere. I'm a sick man, but if you send it to me, I will love you so much, Tylenol.
You can just crush it up and then like condense it into a pill, like similar to a Smartie, and just toss a bunch of them into a Smartie wrapper.
There you go.
That is disgusting.
The kid will OD and die.
Look, I'm not a jackass. I want the kids to know what they're getting into. I'm gonna tell them straight up. Hey, if you take this shit and you stay awake after the point where you get tired, you might feel a little loopy, buddy. You might feel pretty good.
Man, it's the kid's fault for taking candy from a stranger. We're just doing him a favor.
Yeah, I'm a sick bastard. You shouldn't. If I approach you at a playground, run away.
Hey,
don't come up to me. I'll give you Tylenol PM. I'll do it.
If the mom or dad get angry, you can just be like, well, we're doing you a favor. We took them off your hands for you.
You know,
you was stupid anyway.
You know, side note, you know, let's take the kids out of the picture. I would love to be on Tylenol PM at a playground. I think that would be a lot of fun. Can you imagine doing the monkey bars, like fucking drowsed out of your mind? Trying to like grab shit and like I'd be all cut up from the fucking rocks, from the pebbles.
All right, this
has been the WAFFL Podcast.
Yeah, this is so you know we don't condone child abuse of any kind.
Yeah,
or drugging children.
I was a terrible guest. I was awful. But it was a lot of fun. I appreciate the opportunity to be on the inaugural episode of the cast, the podcast. But yeah,
of waffles.
Yeah, waffles with.
Hey! Don't look up blue waffle on Google Images.
Good one.
But yeah, Greg of Waffle and Zach of
Hellfire.
Yeah, check out Zach's channel. I don't know what he's doing on there.
Nothing yet.
You hear that?
It's
nothing
there,
yet.
But there's no videos up yet.
It's gonna.
Well, here we go.
It's gonna be music and a lot of metal content. So I know we're catching. You know, like I said, we're gonna have like about 5 listeners. So if any of those two guys, outside the 3 of us are metalheads or girls, girls
don't listen to.
Girls aren't listening to this. If any of the 2 guys listening to this are into metal, which is likely because you like Deathgrips,
MC Ride and
Hellfire might be the cast for you. It might. might just reel you in.
There you go.
Might just cast out and reel you in. You get it? Podcast, reel in. God damn, I'm good. I'm on a fucking roll right now.
All right, you can't be on my podcast anymore, Kevin.
I'm gonna be on it again. I'm gonna be a regular. Your podcast would be nothing without me.
The Post Malone podcast of the WAFFL podcast.
Man, you don't gotta be a dick about it. No, but yeah, we are signing off.
All right, see you guys later.